If you enjoy this featured episode of Long Lost Brothers, please go and follow or favorite the podcast to get future episodes.
Welcome to Long Lost Brothers, the podcast devoted to fitness, self-improvement, and the overall acquisition of betterment. My name is Brett Scott.
And I'm just Cole.
And we are the Long Lost Brothers. So this week, we decided, instead of doing our usual banter or a little back and forth at the beginning, we're just going to jump right into a subject because we've been talking about it. And I think it's something that should be talked about because it affects a lot of people. So we're going to be talking about seasonal affective disorder. It's a thing that comes on kind of during the winter months, at least here in the northern hemisphere. It affects a lot of people where, depression sets in, I don't know, just things slow down mentally, physically. Everything you're affected in a way almost by the season, so they call it seasonal affective disorder. And it's like it's mostly, physiological. Okay, it's literally lack of sunlight. You're getting less sunlight than you normally do. It's cloudier days. The sun is further down, down south than it normally is, and so it has these physiological effects. You get less vitamin D, and just a lot of things that having that sunlight, like you feel much better in the spring and summer than you do in the winter, for sure. I'm sure most people can agree. So in addition to a lack of sunlight and being indoors all the time, it's literally a tougher time of year where like the weather's more harsh. People statistically die more in winter because of, sickness and flu. God, there's car accidents. There's more car accidents because of weather. And it's like, on top of that, you may also have memories from the past because, a lot of people lose loved ones during these times of years. And also you got the holidays. And with the holidays, it makes you think about these past winters you've gone through where you've had a tough time. So it's like all these things compound on top of each other. And it just really makes for a really shit time of year for a lot of people. So I feel like, and it's a legit thing, seasonal affective disorder. I mean, you can go and be diagnosed with this, and it affects a large portion of the population. So I think it's important that we talk about it.
Yeah. So I don't know if my depression is seasonal affect, but it definitely this time of year is always hard for me. Like since I got into like recovery, it's been easier, but it's like as previous I would, use drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism. It's like, you have to fucking sit in your feelings. You have to really feel the shit,
Yeah.
So there's that. And, this is that, and it is that time of year, and it's like, it's depressing as well. Like, in the field I work in, like, people die like exposure. Like there's, and it's, I don't know, man. For me, this has always been like the time of year where I go to jail. I've had one of my friends pass away about this time of year, So it's kind of ironic that there's all these holidays like crammed into the time of year where everybody's like, man, fuck my life right now. They're like, oh, what else? You're gonna go in debt trying to buy all this Christmas presents, and then you can meet up with your family and argue about politics and
man, that's another thing too. Is there's anxiety around it. There's more anxiety because of the family get-togethers, because of the affording gifts and shit like that. Like it's a big expense.
Yeah, and also like what you haven't mentioned is also we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. So it's like man, like all summer, and a lot of it is like I'm running, I'm doing the things. and there wasn't even a gym to be in, you know? And it's like, made it work, but it's like, you know, it is harder. It's like, man, it's cold. It's ugly out. And it's like, you know, and it's not like I'm like wrapped up in, like, I've been putting out more projects lately, but, man, you know, I mean, this is the first fall that I've been, or the second fall since I've been, like, you know, seeing a therapist and, you know, being like, I started antidepressants this fall because I don't want to go through that, and because I get, you know, just to where I can't, like, you can see it on my face, like I get like chemically depressed, like there's a chemical imbalance in me where I'm like you know, like, you look sad. It's like, yeah, I feel sad, you know, and it's like, why? And it's like, I don't know, I just am.
Yeah,
you know, and
that's another thing I was going to say is that on top of, it's like this thing affects people who are, you know, basically mentally healthy people. So imagine if you already have some other mental health issues, like it just compounds. It's just even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, I think we should like also just touch on things that, you know, to combat it is like, you know, like this is gonna sound real fucking bootstrappy, but you kind of gotta pull yourself up by the bootstraps sometimes and just know that it's not gonna last forever. It can't rain all the time, right? It's, you know, the sun's gonna shine again, and you'll get through it. You know, you just gotta endure. You know, it's gonna be all right. And reach out to your friends, man. You know, your friends give a fuck as much as your depression or your whatever. You're kind of like, my mental health tells me that I like, you know, like when I get depressed, I get this idea that I'm like less valuable to my family and friends, right? And like, and I'm only speaking for myself. I don't know how other people deal with it, but and I get real agitated real fast, and it spikes my anxiety because that I'm worrying about. Like, I go in this whole spiral, right? And this time of year gets real rough. With all that, I'm kind of talking in a circle, but I'm just saying, man, if you're going through this, reach out to your friends. If you know what your self-care is, and, you know, double up on that. Make that a priority. Like, write that on the board of things to do today. You know, it's like shit, shower, shave, and call my sponsor or my friend, or you know, go for a walk, or whatever the thing you do is that makes you better. Meditate, pray, you know, drive by a river and look at the nature. Whatever the thing that you do that, you know, turns things around inside you, you gotta like make an effort to do that. Because I was going to keep it a buck and just get real like personal about my personal life. I apologize to my significant other, but like, you know, she also deals with depression pretty hard, and I know that me and her, like, we literally have to go in the woods. Like, we have to get in my car. We have to drive for a while. We have to put on music. We have to do this ritual. If we don't do it every so often, we don't function right. Yeah. You know, it's like if we just started like not eating or something, you know, get all crabby and bitchy, and it's like cabin fever almost, right? But then it's like, you know, no matter what medication you're prescribed, no matter how many times you see your therapist, no matter how many meetings you go to, that's all good stuff. But if you're not doing the things if you're not taking the deep breaths when you're feeling anxious, you know, nobody's gonna save you. You have to save yourself. Yeah. And you know, I would just encourage anybody that it's like, man, no matter, so no matter how fucking crazy your family is, man, I'll get two things. One, you don't have to fucking go. Two, you got a real good excuse not to go this year. That's for sure. You say you have COVID. Like, bro, I was exposed. I just can't. You know. Hold on. Can I just because I have an idea here. I want to, just for people who might not even recognize what's going on with them, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, do I have that? I don't know. So I have a list here, and I just pulled this from an article online. Oh, man. That's why I love Brett. He's informed. I was talking out of my ass. No. It's legit. No. A lot of the stuff you're saying is a lot of the stuff I'm about to say anyway. So it's all good. Yeah. So first of all, there's a list here of 10 symptoms, right? And some of them, they can sneak up on you because you wouldn't even realize it. Like, oh shit, I didn't realize I was kind of depressed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on. Like, so I'll go through some of these symptoms real quick. All right.
And you tell me, we can comment on them if you agree or whatever. But
dude, I'm also a hypochondriac, so let's get ready for.
Oh shit.
Let's get ready for a mountain out of a molehill, baby. Let's go.
All right. So seasons of seasonal affective disorder. And like I said, this is on top of if you have any other mental health issues. These are just things on top of it, or things that might mix in and you might not even recognize it. Like, oh shit, maybe this is from this, So first symptom they have here: oversleeping or insomnia. Like you got trouble sleeping, or you just can't seem to get out of bed in the morning.
Dude, yeah, that's me on both ends. It's like, oh yeah, that I feel that. It's like I can't go to bed, and then I'm like almost late for work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude, I hate getting up in the morning. Like, I need more sleep in the wintertime. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, symptom number 2: fatigue and lethargy. So you just feel fucking worn down. It says gradual feeling of tiredness can be alleviated with rest. You know what I mean? Like, it says it can be divided into physical and mental fatigue. So not just feeling tired, like in your muscles and your joints and shit, which is rough in the winter. On top of that, you just feel like mentally drained.
Yeah.
So that's a symptom. Symptom number 3: overeating or not feeling like eating at all. Yeah. When you feel like, fuck, man, I don't even want to do anything. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to get up from the couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So symptom number 4, and this is something you and I have talked about before. This is suicidal ideation. And this is not to be confused. Like, if someone tells you that they're going through this, right? Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're really gonna like kill themselves. Okay, it doesn't mean that. What it means is they're having thoughts about it. Their mind is preoccupied. Like, they might be thinking, what would life be like if I wasn't here? What would happen to my significant others if I wasn't around? They might be thinking like, thinking about things like, what do I bring to this world? What do I even, what am I here for? Whatever. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're in danger of committing suicide. I just want to make that clear.
Well, yeah, and okay, I'm gonna take it into like a step. There's a thing called a PHQ-9, right? The Patient Health Questionnaire 9, and they call it that because there's 9 questions, and these are all associated with depression levels, right? Mm-hmm. And they're scored from 1 to 4, and the total score is the level of severity. Okay, so say if you score above a 15, like, you should probably be talking to like a therapist or something. Like, you need to get, if you score like a 10, you should probably reach out to some sort of mental health person. Like 10 and above is like where it's like, and then anything below that's like refer again or reevaluate, some whatever, but if you're like a 20 is like, that's when you're talking about like suicidal ideations, and then it's like, and if your friends are saying they're having suicidal ideations or they're thinking about suicide, like, okay, I'm certified in this, so I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm going to tell you, like, you need to ask them if they have means in the plan. Mm-hmm. And if they say they do, you need to not leave them alone until you get them with somebody that is a crisis support. That's super important. Right. I think that's like the elevated iteration of it. I'm just talking about, like, if things are like that real, you need to take it that serious because, for sure. It's a thing. People kill themselves. It's an option. All the time, man. And COVID's making this stuff worse. You know what I mean? Yeah, the isolation and the constant, just barrage of news about the number of people that are dying and the anxiety that's getting pumped through media and social media and, the hysteria of it is, it's exacerbating, mental health issues and substance abuse issues like crazy. And that on top of like seasonal depression or just depression in general is like, it's a lot, man. Yeah. This is the first since like in 100 years it hasn't been like a plague, right? So it's like this is how we deal with plagues with a smartphone. Right.
Well, so it's great that you said isolation, because the next thing on the list is social isolation, and that's another one that this time of year it's kind of hard to pick that out, because it's like you got a perfect excuse to isolate now. Like, am I really isolating because I'm depressed and I don't want to be around people, or am I isolating because I have to? It's like that's why I wanted to go through this list, because everyone might be thinking like, oh, I'm fine, and then you really think about it, it's like, man, some things on this list, like, okay, on top of the fact that they're telling me to socially isolate, which is like terrible for depression, not being around people, but it's literally a symptom of a disorder. Like, you take that as a marker when someone's not being around people, that they might be depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can isolate while you're with people. Like you can be isolating, sitting next to somebody. You're not participating in conversation, and you're and you check yourself, because if you're disinterested, maybe you need to ask yourself, why are you disinterested in people that you enjoy? Is it situational? Is it depression? Are you okay? It's okay to give yourself a real assessment sometimes, and just take a look in the mirror and double check your own mental health, because I know that if I don't do that, if I don't look at myself, things can get real sideways real fast. But that's just who I am as a person. Like, I'm a very I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I go 0 to 60 real quick. So for me, I have to do a self-assessment often. I have to be aware of what my mental health is doing, because I work with people that I work with the public, and then also, like, I got kids, you got kids, and it's like I feel like as a father, okay, your mental health is like the kind of like the rudder for how the family's gonna be steering,
Yes.
Like I remember, like, my dad was crazy as hell, and it made it really uncomfortable at home sometimes, because my dad was really like obsessed with being angry all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So and I think that and I see, and my dad was like a drug counselor, and so he worked at social service, so I kind of understand where it's like it's easy to let depression turn into anger, because it's easier to be angry than it is to feel sad, right?
Yes, for sure.
I mean, it's like, anyway, so I feel as a father, you need to be responsible to make sure that you're, presenting in a way that you're responsible for your mental health, because you're accountable to your family.
Yeah. I think taking care of yourself is like, it has to be huge.
But that goes for like the moms too, because you're like the matriarch of the family, like like if you're like you're a family member, even if you don't got anybody, like there's somebody that cares about you. I'll bet you anything. I know people that are totally isolated, they don't have friends and family, but there's people in the community that care about them, that make sure they got a code, or they make sure that they're like people working at food banks and things of that nature. It's like that's the cool thing about humans. Like, even though we are pretty shitty to each other sometimes, we are very social animals. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the whole thing, is like, of this social isolation thing, is like, we are social beings, and so when you're not being social, you're kind of not living out your human nature, which it's good for us. It's good for us to interact with other people.
Yeah.
So, symptom number 6, decreased libido. Now, I don't know if I've ever really felt that, but I mean, it's a thing. I mean, definitely when people get depressed, they're a little less interested in doing things that they enjoy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the PHQ-9 questions. Have you, it's like, what is it? A lack of interest in hobbies, and or trouble concentrating on reading newspapers or watching TV shows. Like, that's something that I didn't realize until I started taking PHQ-9s. Is like, I would want to watch a show, right? Like The Punisher, the first time it came out. Right. But I was going through depression and I couldn't concentrate on it.
Right.
And so it's like, anyway, sorry.
It's not me, bro. It's that guy down there. Yeah. All right, sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
I'll have to cut that little snippet out of the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna be all right. But yeah, anyway, so we're on symptom 7, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, symptom 6 is a lack of lack of libido. For me, it's like, I don't know, I'm a fucking sex fiend, so.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't really feel that.
I don't know, man.
I don't feel that in the wintertime, but I can imagine that some people do. And I'm guessing that probably women have that more than men.
Maybe so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see that. Now, I'm no fucking medical expert, but I just feel like men have a little bit more of an aggressive sex drive than women. So I could see that, you know, maybe.
I didn't even say that, but I was like, you know, I'm right there with you. Like, that might be a thing.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, if you are normally feeling like, you know, like sex is fun, and then all of a sudden you're like, this, you know, I'm not really feeling it. Yeah. Like, maybe that's a symptom, man. You know, I mean, you have to.
I don't know, man. For me, I feel like that day would never, like, I don't want sex. Like, what?
Yeah, I know. That would be a hard. That's what I'm saying. That would be a hard symptom to understand.
So you take me to the doctor today.
That's right.
Something's wrong, mama.
All right. So symptom number 7. This is, I don't even know what this is called. Anhedonia.
Okay, anhedonia is a state of pleasurelessness. Where nothing makes you happy. It's a common side effect. Like, it's a withdrawal effect of the brain, usually associated with like amphetamine use. It's like a state of pleasurelessness where it's just like nothing makes you happy. It's like you be watching like the funniest stand up and you might smile, but it's like you know, like,
it says right here, it says reduced ability or motivation to experience pleasure. It's like you just can't be entertained. I mean,
I learned that my first time in rehab. That's why I know that.
So that's the number 7 symptom. If you're feeling that way, you might want to take a look at the mental health checklist. Symptom number 8, unpleasant feelings. It says in disorders such as depression, anxiety, or seasonal affective disorder, you may experience unpleasant feelings such as worthlessness, guilt, helplessness, pessimism. So, man, if you're just thinking like, man, shit never fucking works out, why even try? Like, that's it.
It is all just a fucking joke, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's easy to get that way. Like, I've definitely had those, especially this time of year, because shit goes wrong in the winter, man. Your fucking heat goes out. You know, I've had bouts of being homeless, living in my car in the winter, and I've had you know, a lot of my drug problem was like over a winter. Like the worst of my drug problem was over a winter, and it was like, man, so those feelings when the winter comes back around every year, it's like it almost it's like if you have these memories of feelings, you know what I mean? Yeah,
and I've thought about that many times, but I never thought about it right now. Why? It shows you because you would do things like you'd walk in the cold to go get dope, like you would endure like shit that it would just suck, like you'd be fucking drenched, soaked, fucking wet ass feet for his little punk ass sack of fucking dope, and it's just like, you know, in a snowstorm or rainstorm. Maybe that's why. Or you're like, man, just walked over here, it's like fucking 10 degrees and fucking some guy short of me. Fucking. I never thought about that until right now, but man. I've made that association with this time of year and my active use. Like,
the shit comes back too. Like, it's like everything. I've had cars break down in the winter. It's like, you know what I mean? Just shitty shit happens when it's cold out, and it's like the cold makes it even worse. So like, there's all these memories of feelings. So it's almost like your body, your brain, right? It's not like you're actually feeling them sometimes. It's just like this, what is it? It's like a ghost of the feeling you used to have. Yeah. And it just creeps back in. It's crazy.
It's like, crazy. It's like seeing somebody else get hit in the nuts.
Yeah.
You know, like you feel like you feel like,
oh yeah, my stomach kind of hurts.
Feeling.
Right.
It's like,
right. And now this is something that you just brought up a minute ago, so it's like perfect, man. Like, we're perfectly describing these symptoms because clearly you and I have had some experience with harsh winters in our life. But agitation and difficulty concentrating, So you just talked about that with the Punisher, and you just talked about that with like, you know, just being agitated easily, you know, like just leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? It's like, for sure. Like my kids, they get on my nerves a little bit more when I'm in this mode. You know what I mean? It's like,
you know, like Kimberly will have to ask, like, are you okay? You know,
right.
like, you know, like I'll snap out of it like real quick, but I'm like, yeah, I'm being crazy. Sorry. I'm going through it. And like, you know, and it's okay to say that you're going through it and own that as long as you're working on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we all fucked up. But you can be like, oh, you know what? You're right. That was out of line.
Right. And as long as you don't use it as an excuse, you know, like you're saying, like if you own it, as long as you don't go, well, it's fucking, you know, I'm entitled to this fucking feeling because everybody feels this way. Like, no, you got to be like, I'm being, you know, this ain't me. I'm sorry.
This is an analogy that I've carried for some time. Addiction and mental health issues is like having a pit bull, right? It's on a chain, okay? When you have it in check. If you and it's a biting, this pit bull bites motherfuckers for sure. He's a biting ass dog, okay? He's your dog, and you don't have a choice. You can't take him in pound. He's just with you. If you let him off the chain, you're responsible for whatever that dog does.
Yep.
So you have to keep a close fucking eye on your mental health and on your fucking addiction, because that's your fucking pit bull that's on your chain.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Beautiful analogy. All right. This is the last symptom they list here. It's just anxiety. And like I said, that can come with holiday season coming, family members. You know, you got to go to family get-togethers. This is just a weird year, though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you have the excuse now. We can avoid going to those family get-togethers, but at the same time, we want to make sure we're not fucking isolated. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
and I mean, just being an anxious person in general, it's like,
yeah.
It's like, it's weird though. You wouldn't notice that I was anxious because I'm like kind of like a social butterfly, but it's like I put on, like I do so much all the time because I have like that imposter. I think it's called what's it called?
I don't know, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, where I feel like I don't deserve this life that I have built now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I do, but it's like I have that feeling inside of me where it's like you're supposed to be like in jail or doing like criminal shit, right? Like,
yes.
I'm grateful I'm not, though. I'm glad that I'm able to be here on this podcast to try to help people support themselves through this upcoming holiday season.
Yeah, dude, I've had I know definitely in the past this is something I've had to work on through counseling and stuff like that. But like I've had a lot of self-sabotage whenever things start going good. You know what I mean? And then it's anxiety. Anxiety sets in like, fuck, man, I'm not supposed to be doing this good. Something's wrong. You know, I'm not. You know, this ain't me. You know, and then you start fucking yourself over.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know why, but it was like so hard for me to get my head into me getting my license. Like once I was just like, I'm going to go do it. And I went and decided what the problem, like I wouldn't even go talk to the DMV for like literally like 5 years after I got this, like, cause I just drive without a license, had all these tickets and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, it worked out payment plan. Yeah, I'm on that payment plan still right now. Got my license. I was like, no problem. Yeah, pay the money. Did. Bought a car, started driving. I was like, I didn't drive for like 4 years because of this.
Yeah, a lot of the times it is just that simple. Like, and not to downplay it, but like a lot of times when you are super anxious about something, if you're able to find a way, whether that through meditation or counseling or whatever, like to step outside of that and really look at it objectively, it's like there's usually a super simple solution, like just go do the thing.
Yeah,
and
like,
once you do it, and once you get the process rolling, you're like, oh shit, the whole time I was worried about this, and it's like, if there's a simple, it might not even be simple, but there is a path to fixing this, whatever it is.
Right. It's like when you're in the water and you're drowning, and you put your feet down and you touch the bottom of the beach.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right.
That literally happened to Joey this summer. The day we went skydiving, he had me holding his arm because it's like, I don't know, he had to like do something with his shorts. I was like holding his arm so he wouldn't like drown while he's like, I think he had his shorts on back, some weird shit. I don't remember, but he had to do something with his shorts. So I'm like holding his arm, and then like as soon as he gets done, I let go, and then he like touches the bottom. He's like, oh, he's like stands up and like he's like shoulder deep to the water. I was like, well, that was kind of silly. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's a good. This is like the metaphor episode, bro.
Oh,
all these fucking metaphors. It's great.
Yeah, I love analogies, man.
So that was the list of 10 things, but I figured we could lay out, because you kind of laid out some of them already right in the beginning there. I figured we lay out some things that you can do to kind of combat this. And the first thing I have on my list is a super simple thing. It's probably the most simple thing on the list, right? Supplement with vitamin D. Like, you can't imagine how much of a difference it makes that your body is getting less vitamin D during these months. Like, it's huge for your brain and for your body. And it's like, you need that sunlight. Did you know, have you ever heard of Alaskan happy lights?
No, I have not.
So check this out. If you live in Alaska, every year around, I think it's around September or so, okay?
Yeah, it'll be
maybe even earlier. There's all these signs and stuff posted everywhere. There's this big advertisement push, okay? And it's like, don't forget your happy lights. Winter is coming. Because what they have to do in Alaska, because they go through long bouts of darkness, right? So they actually market these UV lights that you put all over inside your house so that you get exposure to UV light. They're called happy lights.
Right.
That's crazy.
I used to go canning a lot with the UV light, and that helped. I get real orange, and I look like I was like bronze, like it looked like I was like a beachgoer.
Right.
And where I live, it's not like you can look like that in the summer, but it's like you look kind of like out of place, or like it's just like, why is he so like? Did you get back from vacation? Like,
yeah, most people there look like the Cullens, and you're over here looking like Trump.
Yeah, somebody they hit me with that at the gym as kids. But I was like, hey man, I'm just dealing with my stuff, so whatever.
So supplement with vitamin D. That's like a super simple thing. It's not that expensive. Go to a pharmacy or a store, or order them online, probably even cheaper. But you can get I get like 5,000 IU little tiny capsules, right? And I think they last me like 6 months. Like a bottle lasts you like 6 months. So it's a super simple thing that you can do. Just one of the ways to start combating this. And then another one is just get outside. Like, I know it sucks to go outside, but even that little bit of exposure to what sunlight there is, and on top of that, just the fucking fresh air, you know what I mean? Like, it's good for your body to be outside. Like, so that's another thing. That's a lot of things they tell you for depression in general. Go take a walk, whatnot. So
I actually did some construction work today, like very little bit. I just helped my brother like load some studs and stuff like that. But like, and got a little sun, got some fresh air, for driving. With my son, it was good. And then yesterday, we ran that mile challenge. And that was good.
It makes a difference, man. It really does. Like, just being outside a little bit each day. And like, I know in the winter it's easy, especially where I live. Like, it gets cold as fuck, man, and we get snow, and you really don't want to go out in the snow. And it's like, but man, like, if you get snow and shit, like, you know what? Take your kids sledding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go do something, man. Just get outside. Do a little bit.
I don't mind the snow. I hate the rain, and it just rains here.
I know, rain.
Anyway, I'm just complaining to complain.
And then the next thing I have on here is just physical activity daily, something. I mean, I said, get outside, go take a walk. Even if you're not getting outside, walk on your treadmill, fucking get on the bike, do some push-ups. Just get your body moving a little bit. You ain't got to fucking do a long lost brothers challenge. Just like, just work up a little bit of a sweat, you know what I mean? Or do some yoga, just something to keep your body moving. It's going to make a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, man.
It also gives you a goal, right, each day. And like, on top of being physically active, you're also, you get a good feeling. You're like, oh, I did my thing today. I did it.
Yeah.
So, next I've got counseling, right? It's like, counseling, I go to counseling every 2 weeks. I don't know how often you go.
Same, long lost brothers.
But like, it's like, yeah, man, get into some sort of counseling, because if you feel this shit coming on, there's nothing wrong with having somebody to talk to. And you know what? Other depressed people around you might not be the best to fucking lay all your problems on. You know,
so they'd be like, man, I'm gonna kill myself. I mean, too, bro. Let's get on the fucking bridge.
Exactly. So I think, get into some sort of counseling, man. Once every couple of weeks, and like if you already are in counseling, once every couple of weeks, maybe bump it up a little bit. You know, just for the winter, just bump it up to once a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the stigma, you know, like mental health is a real thing. Mental health issues are a real thing, you know. Like, as much as I like to champion recovery, it's not just of substance abuse, you know. It's like, it's it's 20, you know, it's gonna be 2021. Like, you have a little depression, you got some anxiety. It's kind of just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I used to like
I got high blood pressure. Like, you know?
It's like that. And what's funny is I used to like kind of believe in that stigma, right? And I feel so dumb now because I'm like, literally, what is having a counselor? It's literally just fucking going and talking to somebody. That's it. You just talking to somebody. You know what I mean? And kind of working through things, and maybe they suggest something, you know, because they've had some education and experience. They can suggest something you didn't think of. Like, it's not like this thing where you're like going in and being judged and everybody's going to look at you weird for doing it. It's like you're literally talking to someone for an hour. That's it.
Yeah, and check it out. And here's what I'm going to recommend. What is recommended by you know, the hub of community health workers. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking for them, but this is what's recommended. Go if you try out a counselor, and if you after 4 times you're not clicking with this person, they're not the one for you, you're not making headway, try another one.
Yes.
You know, just be like, hey man, you know, this isn't working for me. Yeah. And I bet you they're not gonna have any hard feelings, or you know, you're just be like, hey, I'm not getting what I need out of this. You know,
most of the time they're gonna be super understanding, and they're going to recommend someone else to you. Like, literally, they're not going to be like, you know, there's no judgment. Yeah, dude, like, what, I'm not good enough for you? No, they're going to be like, oh, my friend Connie's good. You might want to try her out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to be, you know. So, another thing, and I think something that this is why the podcast is so helpful to me personally, is just stay in touch with some friends. And I'm talking about outside of your family. People outside of your family. And I know it's hard with the pandemic to actually meet up with people, but man, call somebody up, see how they're doing, check in on them. Like, stay in touch with a friend or two at least a few times a week. And now, you know, you and I, we call each other up a couple times a week, and then we do this hour-long podcast every week. Like, and I feel like it's super good for me because honestly, outside of my family, I don't have anything. And I'm sure you're kind of like that too. I mean, like, your crew is your little hub there, right? It's like your roommates and your wife. It's like your kids.
Yeah,
and like,
I got a couple of gym bros, and you know.
Yeah, it's super important to like to just reach out, have some connections outside of your immediate base. You know what I mean? I think it's important.
Yeah. There's a whole nother conversation that I could go into about that, but I think that pretty much sums it up well. But it's like you should have 5 supports for different needs, but I don't have all the education off the top of my head to display properly, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But but yeah, you know, like but make sure you have like if you're not gonna get a counselor, just make sure you got a solid somebody to talk to that gives a shit, you know. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, I'm coming to you because of this. Just be like, hey man, I'm struggling, and I just need, like, I have friends that I trust to tell them, hey man, look, I just need to tell somebody that I'm depressed right now. I'm stressed out. I'm feeling fucked up, or I'm having suicidal ideations. I'm not suicidal. I make it very clear. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm just going through it. And saying it audibly to another person, it takes a lot of, it's like putting the name in the demon takes his power away, you know?
Yes.
You know, so it's like I'll call Brett. I'm like, hey Brett, man, like I've done this. I say, hey Brett, man, I'm just calling you because I need to tell somebody that I'm fucking up right now. Like, I'm not feeling good. Yes. I'm fucking depressed. Like, you know, and I remember the first time I told you that shit, you're like, oh, what the fuck? You okay? And then like, you know, like, yeah, I just have to tell somebody because otherwise it's like a bee fucking buzzing around my fucking head, and you know, or it's like a bullet ricocheting, like a bunch of negative thoughts. But if you can let it out, so you know, normalize it.
Yeah, that brings me back to like, and this is kind of how our friendship has grown. This is how we ended up doing a podcast together, because originally we were just kind of we knew of each other. You know, we were Facebook friends. We comment on each other's stuff every once in a while, but that was it. But I think we really kind of had the friendship form around being real with each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would tell me things about whatever. I mean, it started out we were talking about just self-improvement stuff, right? And I think that kind of eased us into being comfortable with sharing our feelings with each other and stuff like that. And like, I remember when I was looking at going to 12-step groups, and I reached out to you. Like, I felt comfortable. There wasn't anyone else that I felt comfortable reaching out to. It made sense for me to reach out to you. And like, but see what I'm saying? And like, then we developed that friendship. And now you can call me and say, hey man, I'm having a rough time. Like, shit's going, my house is crazy right now. My kids doing this and that, whatever it is. And like, we could talk about it. And it's like, you don't necessarily need someone that's, gonna fix it for you. You just need someone to literally talk to. And sometimes you don't even have to talk about your problems. I'm just talking about in general, having a fucking friend to bullshit with sometimes is like therapeutic as hell.
Yeah, and sometimes there's not a problem to fix. You just need to say that there's a problem.
Right.
It's like my check engine light's been on. It's just a sensor, man. It's a sensor that's like $600 to change the light and turn off the engine. But I already done it 5 times. I don't need to do that again. I'm just going through it. The check engine light's on, so I'm letting you know.
And it's like I don't have to be a mechanic to tell you like, oh, it'll probably be all right, man. But if it gets any worse, take it to a professional.
It's probably the O2 sensor, bro. You can drive it like that for another 50,000 miles. But, but if you start hearing a clunking noise, you get to, probably get to a shop.
That's it. That's the fucking. I wish I could come up with a clever name for this episode, like with analogies or metaphors, but it's probably just gonna be. Probably just gonna be winter is coming, but UMMING.
There
you go.
Sorry.
So you know what else really helps me? You know what helps me? Christmas music, man. Like listen, man. The earlier the better, bro. I started jamming
like Shia LaBeouf for argument, dude.
Listen, man. I used to feel like you. Okay, I used to be like when they started playing Christmas music before Thanksgiving. I'd be like, you motherfuckers, what are you doing? It's not Christmas. We haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. But
dude,
now
I'm like vibing with your rage right now. I was in Walmart yesterday losing my fucking mind. I was like, well, there ain't a fucking turkey in here.
Yeah, dude, it's funny because I was
pilgrims, huh?
It was hilarious, dude, because I was seeing like Christmas shit out at the same time Halloween shit was out, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
but
no, stores on that quick. They overlap hard.
Yeah, but dead serious. I don't know why it is. Like I said, I used to hate it, but now I think it used to remind me, like I said, of the harsh winter and the harsh times and the shitty holidays and like times like holidays I spent that weren't fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I associate it with my kids. So like when I hear fucking jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, I'm like, fuck.
Okay, you know what? Okay. We're getting way too fast forward into Christmas episodes.
Okay.
If you don't like Elf, you're not even a human being.
Oh yeah, dude.
And also, I wish would happen just for your sake. I wish Shia LaBeouf would make a Christmas album.
Oh my God, a hip hop Christmas album.
Dude, I would buy you the vinyl, the CD. If they made a cassette, I would buy you the iTunes, whatever, dude. I would find Honey Boy and get an autograph if you did that.
The Shia LaBeouf holiday hip hop special.
Dude.
You know what though? You just gave me. I love this podcast, man. You just gave me a great idea because we're definitely now doing a Christmas movie episode. Just like we did with the Halloween Spooktacular, we're going to do a whole Christmas episode where we talk about our favorite Christmas movies, man. Oh, man, that's awesome. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
All right. Do you have any more, like, additional thoughts? I think we've hammered I think we're doing good. I think this is good.
I think I said my piece. I don't want to speak out of school. I think I've said everything that I can say with
I feel like
and I also want to say I'm not a mental health professional, but I've been to a lot of them. So.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say is that people should understand that, like, we're in no way like professionals giving like legitimate medical advice.
I'm not a park ranger, but I've been to camp.
Yes, we can speak anecdotally, right? We've been through some shit, and we've from professionals learned ways to deal with shit. So I think it's important to pass that on, and also to kind of I'm hoping that this podcast, not just this episode, but plenty of the episodes that we've done, will kind of break down that stigma that there is around mental health and counseling and all these things.
Yeah.
I hope we can do that for people. That'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude.
All right. So,
hell, like, I talk about it all the time, you know? I got a big old, like, semicolon on my bicep. Like, I'm, like, definitely about ending the stigma behind the recovery and mental health awareness, and, you know, like, that's important to me. And, you know, that's why when you were, like, asked me the other day, you're like, is this time of year hard for everybody? Mm-hmm. Like, mentally? Or, like, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, dude, it for sure is, like, 100%.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like, it's kind of just we're like, okay, we're going to go this direction this week.
Yep, that's the background on how this episode came to pass.
Yeah.
So, shit, man, okay. I think, you know, since there's so much month left, we still have another week left in November after this week. So I think we can finish out our book review next week. And then maybe we can just jump right into the challenge. You want to talk about the Mile in My Shoes challenge?
Man, I'm so much slower than I thought. Dude, I've been treadmilling. And I've been saying this the whole time. Treadmill does not equal real running.
Yep.
Right? It's not the same. It's not the same thing. Treadmilling is moving your legs as fast as this belt on the machine goes.
Yep.
Running is propelling your body from the earth forward.
Yeah, literally, a treadmill is just hopping. It's literally just hopping in place while the ground moves underneath you. Like, it definitely gives you, it does for sure. And that's why I kept
speed.
Yeah, I kept fucking with you like, this ain't no treadmill race, homie.
I know. And I knew that coming in. But I mean, before, how do I say this without sounding like a total bitch? I'm faster than I was by a lot. And I think that,
for sure.
And I want to revisit this when it's not sideways raining every day in good old Washington State.
As do I. You know, it would be fucking epic if we've been talking about this off air for a while. I don't know if we've ever brought it up on the podcast, but like, for one, we're hoping, but we don't know if it is even close to possible, but we're hoping we could actually meet up in person early next summer, and run a marathon together. Now,
I've already been talking to the missus about it. It might be a thing.
You know what else we could do while you're here is run a 1 mile foot race.
Oh, no, I'd have to beat your ass though.
Yeah, dude. I think it should be a straight line race too, not on a track. Yep. Just a straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up.
All right, so how did you do?
Okay, you should be. I think. Okay. Dude. So I'm gonna tell you this. I hit my watch like in the video. I posted a video to my YouTube. Mm-hmm. I hit my watch and I thought I hit run on the exercise. I get 2 laps in the look and see how I'm doing, and it's on just telling me what time it is. So I'm like, oh fuck. But I looked at the video and I'm willing to give 2 seconds either way, but I got 7 minutes 10 seconds. That's what I got.
7:10. Okay. Yeah. And that's that's in the middle then? So you say it's between 7:08 and 7:12.
If somebody wants to sit there and get meticulous with it, I'm willing to concede 2 seconds either way.
Okay. All right. Well, we basically fucking tied then, bro. Okay. Because the time that I ended up with, now my watch was damn accurate, right? I was really surprised. Every lap I did, right when I crossed that 0.25 mark of the track, it would say 0.25 on my watch. I'm like, oh shit, this is perfect. So
yeah, your watch is nicer than mine, bro. I have a nice watch.
Well, I finished the race. The race, yeah, I guess it is a race. When I finished, it was like a couple steps, literally a couple steps from the finish line. My watch went 1 mile, right? Oh. So it was like a 0.1 off, maybe, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
And so my watch tells me that it was a 706 mile, but when I stopped the watch because I had literally crossed the line, it said 711.
So we're pretty close. We're moving pretty close. It would be highly competitive.
Yeah. I think that's definitely something like that's gonna make us want to do this again.
Yeah.
In a springtime.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it, and I was wearing so I was wearing sweats and a hoodie, and I usually run with just the booty shorts.
Yeah, I was too. I was wearing sweats and
it's cold, man.
A sweatshirt. Yep.
Yeah, and I thought and also I was thinking I don't usually turn up get really going until mile 3, so I should have just ran a couple miles and then turned it on.
For sure. But, yeah. I ran a full mile before I did it.
I ran a half mile and then I just got after it.
Because I just knew that, I know from my long runs, that first mile always fucking sucks ass. But then after that, I'm I'm good. I fall into a groove and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good now.
By mile 3 is when I can start getting after it pretty well. But I knew that before I started running, but it was cold and I just woke up and it's the day after my birthday and I have excuses like I always do. That's all right. But yeah, I was excited to do it. Yeah, man, that was good. That was a fun challenge. I liked it.
It was. So basically, we're pretty much tied. What?
I got a smoker for my birthday. Sorry.
Oh yeah, anyway. Good. Oh. Yeah, you got a big ass fucking meat smoker.
Dude,
happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm 38 years old now.
Yeah.
And, I smoked 10 pounds of ribeye.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long does that last? How long is that gonna last you?
Well,
a week?
Not even close. No. It was just me, Joey, my 16-year-old son who's lifting now. And it came out so good. Kimberly's not really one to eat much steak.
It looks good.
Oh no, it's fire.
Are you eating it a couple times a day?
Yeah, and then I had a buddy come by and I gave him one of them because he's my friend.
Oh, how very Rogan of you to give away meat.
Well, dude, my wife, she's the best gift getter. She's so thoughtful. Because I have a smoker that broke. She bought me a new one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is a chip one, not a pellet fed. So they're different, but yeah, this one's not as computeristic or futuristic. It's more old schooler, but it's still electric. So it's you just put it on the back porch, kind of plug it in. It's an easy bake oven for bros, but makes some delicious fucking ribeyes. Tell you what,
they look delicious.
Delicious. Look on my page, dude. You guys will not. You'll be like, oh my goodness, he was not bullshitting.
Well, look, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to refer people to our Facebook page and our Instagram account because in all this excitement, I didn't actually come up with a challenge. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to come up with I'm gonna have to come up with this week's challenge, and I'm going to post it on the.
I think it's gonna be a one-off challenge because it ain't gonna be a daily routine challenge, is it?
No, for sure. It was already gonna be I planned on for a while now. I wanted to do at least the next few challenges, be it one day, either a workout or something. So.
Hey, we're back at phase 1 in Washington, just so you know. So the gym is kind of cool. I have the office gym now, so keep that in mind.
Okay. Yeah. I'm good. You know me. I'm all about the fucking body weight shit anyway. So,
all right.
But I'm gonna figure out my challenge because for some reason I didn't take the time to think about it. And
I'm gonna remind you, but you're usually so meticulous.
I know. Usually on top of that shit. I'm usually all week. I'm can't wait to give him this challenge. But
yeah, I know you keep that ace in the sleeve usually.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, if you don't already follow our Facebook page, which you might not, it's Long Lost Brothers Podcast. Search that on Facebook. Or you can follow the Instagram account, which is Long Lost Brothers _podcast. And we will post, when I come up with it, it'll probably be tonight or tomorrow. And we'll post it up on the page, and that'll be the challenge for the week for other people that want to do it. And I think we can wrap this thing up.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Avoid your family. Don't touch COVID.
Right.
Don't be depressed. Be happy.
Battle that shit.
Dude, I'm gonna smoke a turkey. Anyway, guys. I really am, but anyway, you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you next week. Appreciate you.
All right. Later.
Bye, bro.